If you're a Muslim man who wants to know the prophetic secret behind winning in dunya without losing your soul, then you gotta watch this video. Throughout humanity, we've had this disease of hubbad dunya. Whether it's before the Romans, throughout Roman times, or even what I like to call the modern Roman age with the Americans, we have this culture and society pushed towards loving the dunya. And the sad thing is that the average Abdullah, he learns from his society, his parents, through Western culture that we should just slave away to the dunya, and the more you slave away to it, the more it's gonna give you. And so we get brainwashed over and over about hustle culture and working 15-hour days, as well as materialism, because you need a new iPhone to get a new iPhone case, to get a new car, so you can buy things, so people like you, even though you don't like them, right? This materialistic crap that's been shoved into our minds by the empire of shaitan, so that we can gain the punishment of Allah without even knowing. And even the average Abdullah, he keeps doing this. He works and works and works, and maybe even sells his religion, whether it comes to riba, whether it comes to haram wealth, just to make more money, because he's been taught that that's all that matters. But the funny thing is that the more the average Abdullah works, he keeps working, but he makes less and less and less money, and he's less and less and less fulfilled. His family life goes to mess. All his aspects of the dunya mess up. But what of the sultan? What about the ultimate modern Muslim man? What would he do? Well, he would know not to follow the brainwashing of the kuffar and the empire of shaitan. He would know that when he wants to make money in the dunya, or he wants to gain success in dunya, he would look at the one who created the dunya and understand how. He goes and looks for the secret advices of Allah Azza wa Jal and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, those who actually know this world more than the kuffar and the empire of shaitan. And you know, Sultan, the ultimate Muslim man, he wants success in dunya to fulfill his responsibilities. And yeah, he wants some enjoyment in dunya, who doesn't? But he ultimately doesn't just want this dunya and success in dunya just because. He wants to earn more power and more influence and more wealth in order to chase the akhirah. And funny enough, the more he strives for the akhirah, the more and more he doesn't really concern himself with the dunya, the more money, power and influence he gets. Because he knows this prophetic secret that the prophets of the past, peace be upon them, and the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum used to increase their dunya without losing their soul. So in the next 20 to 30 minutes, we're going to go through the essential mindsets of this prophetic secret and how to really implement it, the examples of it, and the step-by-step implementation into your life so that you can win in dunya without losing your soul and gain ultimate success in the deen, the dunya and the akhirah, inshaAllah. So let's get into it, don't waste your time. But before that, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Muhammad al-Sultan, and I help young Muslim men go from the average Abdullah into the ultimate modern Muslim man transformation, so that they can unlock the Sultan inside of themselves in order to defeat the empire of shaitan, so that they can attain ultimate success in the deen, the dunya and the akhirah, inshaAllah. If you want to fast track that ultimate success in the deen, the dunya and the akhirah, but you don't have the step-by-step processes to annihilate your haram habits and 100x your deen and dunya, you don't have the templates that make actioning that difficult process extremely effortless, and you also don't have a community of brothers, just like the Sahaba had each other, to help each other stay on the path, keep grinding to achieve that ultimate success, then check the link in the description. Join the Sultanate School today, because you'll find all these three inshallah. And let's get straight into the video. There is a Caliph inside of you. You just must unlock it. The kuffar have lied because outside of the means methods, right, in terms of like technically how to sell, how to set up a business, the mindsets and the way that you approach the dunya from the kuffar's perspective is incorrect. Because I tried that for years. When I was a kafir, when I was a Muslim, I was under this kafir influence and I fell into materialism. And you can even see videos of me explaining my issues with this and my ups and downs. Because I listened to the kuffar, the way that I approached my dunya was mixed. Because I would hear things from Allah Azza wa Jal and the truth, and I would follow that and things would go great. And then I would keep hearing this kafir ideology and kafir mindsets, and I'd start going the wrong way and fall down. Until I humble myself and I do what Allah Azza wa Jalla wants, as we'll speak about the prophetic secret of wealth and dunya, and things will start going great. And then I'd get debased again because I went and followed the kafir mindsets. And I did it again and again and again, and it keeps going. Why? Because ultimately the dunya itself is temporary. Let alone the mindsets of the kuffar that they learn in the dunya. They're temporary, they are not permanent solutions based on timeless principles. Plus, they don't know how this was created, right? And this is why having Islam is a cheat code, as we'll talk about in the secret in the next part of the video. But ultimately, if we just focus on the glamour of the dunya and we focus on success in the dunya metrics, we will be unfulfilled. Not only because it's designed to allure you, but it's made to break you. The dunya is a test, It's literally the point was created, right? And anyone who strives for the dunya's sake, whether they be Muslim, whether they be kafir, they have some level of unfulfillment. They have some level of void that will never be fixed, as we'll speak about why in the next part of the video. But this unhappiness and this void leads them to chase more money and more money and more money, and a'udhu billah, even haram, to fill the void that will only be filled by Allah Azza wa Jal, by His will. You know, you'll be up here for 1 second and then boom. You see this with everyone. And the problem is that there's two extremes between the Muslims that we have to fix. The first extreme with dunya is that actually the dunya doesn't matter, and I'm not gonna. No, we have responsibilities, and prophets of the past were kings with wealth. There's nothing wrong with wealth and power and influence if used in the correct way, with the correct intention. If it's for the dunya's sake, then yeah, it's useless. But the dunya itself can be used for khair. And the second thing is the reprioritization, i.e. the kuffar get in your mind, because the truth is that we are beings that can be programmed. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam warned us that you are upon the deen of your best friend. And so if you keep watching these kafirs all the time, every single day, you spend time with them more than your friends. So they become your friends and you take their deen. And this is why we start reprioritizing the deen and the akhirah. And even us in Western societies, your family has been brainwashed with the stuff that the empire of shaitan has put in their minds. The empire of shaitan pushes these kuffar to say these things, and he pushes us to listen, shaitan himself, so that we can find that punishment of Allah that we'll speak about. But what did the Sahaba do? What did they do to have them have the ultimate success? You know, they won in dunya. You look at Abdurrahman ibn Auf, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, Umar ibn Khattab, Uthman ibn Affan, all these men, they were, especially Abdurrahman, rich out of money we couldn't even conceptualize in that time. But they still were Sahaba. Sahaba that got glad tidings, like Uthman radiallahu an. And we'll speak about what they did in the next point now. So point number 2 is the secret to winning in dunya without losing your soul. And I'm going to repeat this hadith twice because this is the secret, okay? You know, like no manifestation crap, the secret from the messenger of God sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This is from Sunan al-Tirmidhi and is authenticated by Al-Albani as-Sahih, right? Anas ibn Malik reported that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that whoever is concerned about the akhirah, Allah will place richness in his heart and bring his affairs together, and the world will inevitably come to him. Whoever is concerned about the dunya, Allah will place poverty between his eyes, disorder in his affairs, and he will get nothing out of the world except what is decreed for him. But what is decreed for him? Subhanallah. And so now you see why I was so passionate in the beginning. That when we follow the kuffar's understanding that we must just think about the dunya and we must just this, to the kuffar, you see them, they will never be fulfilled. Why? Because you have poverty between your eyes. This is why people want more and more and more, because they think it's not enough. I need more to fill me and more and more. It will never happen. The void will never be filled because you are concerned, and concerned meaning it's your priority, it's the only thing that you care about, right? Like, and if you really think about it, what do we act like? I've seen moments in my life where I thought about Allah in salah. Even in salah, I was having waswasa because of my business. And the whole day I'm stressed and this. It's waswas. And also I'm just the one who's sitting thinking about and my business this and my business that and my dunya this. You forget that this is all a test and it's not even real. Like it's real, but like we die and there's an akhirah. Like we've been so encapsulated by the dunya, and in my opinion, it's simply because we keep making best friends with the kuffar in the computers, right? As influencers. Now let's get to the next parts of the ayat of Quran that Allah Azza wa Jalla speaks about wealth. And then we're going to go to analyzing this. If you are grateful, I will certainly give you more. Does Allah break his promises? So if you are grateful, I will certainly give you more. And he also says, subhanahu wa ta'ala, work gratefully, O family of Dawood. A few of my servants are grateful. Basically, only a few of my servants are truly grateful. So Allah is linking gratitude to risk, because Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam and Sulaiman alayhi salam were rich, they were kings, and they were prophets. I mean, look at the barakah, subhanAllah. And he links gratitude to wealth. And what do we see in the other hadith? Allah will place poverty between his eyes. So in gratitude, you will never be grateful. So if you are not grateful, you get nothing. And if you get nothing, you are ungrateful. And it's a self-perpetuating cycle, down and down and down and down, and we wonder why we fail. Whatever aspect of dunya this is, This is what Rasulullah authentically says is gonna happen from Wahi. And what Allah says the rules of wealth are. So us as Muslims, first we gotta say, Alhamdulillah, we have the cheat code. This is the cheat code. The one who created the rizq, as we'll speak about why even in the next part of the video and the implementation phase. The one who created the rizq is telling us how to gain rizq. Like, let me say something before we start analyzing the hadith. If Allah loves you, right? If Allah loves you, does He care about your akhirah or your dunya? Allah Azza wa Jalla knows that this is a day or more than a day that we're feeling. And that the afterlife is the only thing that's important. So would He rather you become miskeen of miskeen, like the poor of the poorest, just because you maintain your deen in that way? Or would you rather He gives you everything, but you become in a state of ghafla? Your iman is different. Your prayer is different. Because humans, we love to go to Allah when things are horrible. And then you wonder, why is everything always horrible? Well, because you're not with Allah. And Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best with this test. But in general principle, if Allah loves you, why would He give you something that takes you away from Him? If He gives you something that takes you away from Him, that's not love, that's punishment. So you say, oh, but this Muslim here, Allah knows best. But you see, kuffar, all this kafir is rich. Yani the kafir is being punished. You don't understand. And Allah knows best, but you get my point. Let's break this down. How do we strive in dunya while getting the most out of it without losing our soul? And that is to make whoever is concerned about the akhirah, concerned in this case, prioritizing, thinking mostly about, like you're concerned about the akhirah and you're saying the akhirah. And ultimately the pleasure of Allah. Allah will place richness in his heart. You see the unfulfillment we spoke about? This is how Allah fixes that. He will bring His affairs together. He Himself will do it for you. We sit here, we're trying to solve problems, whatever. You know, you could just make dua and ask Allah to help you. That is madness. You know, there's two extremes in the world where people are like, yeah, I'm going to work hard and my tawfiq and mashallah. No. Allah can help you. And also other people are like, yeah, I'm going to ask the universe is going to manifest to me. That's also messed up. Just ask Allah in dua and He'll help you. But in this case, if you make the akhirah your concern, Allah will place richness in your heart and bring His affairs together. And the world will inevitably come to Him. Barring Allah was qadr. But this is what Allah is saying as wahi to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And the world will inevitably come to Him. So if you make the akhirah a priority, you will get fulfillment. Allah will Himself solve your problems and the world will come to you. Isn't that what you want? But if you don't, if you think about the dunya and your business and your funnel and yani, what am I going to do in this? Allah will place poverty between your eyes, which we said brings ingratitude. Ingratitude brings less blessings. And goes against the Prophet, peace be upon him, Dawood alayhi salam and Sulaiman alayhi salam's principles that Allah is outlining. Disorder in his affairs. And he will get nothing of the world but what is decreed for him. So we can see that when we follow the second path of chasing the dunya and this, we will get only what was decreed. So we can see these examples of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's advice, the family of Dawood, and of course Ibrahim alayhi salam, which is being spoken about in the first ayat that I said. So the kuffar are wrong. When you just sit here for 10 hours productive a day and you don't care about your akhirah, like, that's different. We'll talk about it just now. But like, you get my point. If you just think about the means of getting $10,000 a month or whatever, or you think about all my muscles and all this and all that in my dunya and what, you will gain only punishment. And only what was decreed. If you care about the akhirah, we have seen this in authentic historical reports, and I can tell you firsthand, the moments where I care about Allah's pleasure when I make videos, Allah's pleasure when I do things for my business, by Allah it becomes 50x. Like the moments I blow is only then. When I made the video, truly I just wanted to please Allah. Everything else was, Allah will decide that. That my reward was from Allah. Whether in this dunya or the akhirah. The video explodes. I'm telling you, even the way that my business would go, it explodes. When I leave it to Allah and I trust Allah and I focus on my deen, everything explodes. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam literally told us what happens. So listening to the kuffar and thinking about the dunya and the $10,000 a month, it's not going to get you anywhere. The first part of this is grinding deen. So every single day I really recommend, and this is what's been changing for me. I had been very inconsistent with my deen habits, right? But the moment that I started putting it the first thing, so I do like salah, Quran, ilm, and then the rest of the dunya. When I do that, wallahi, my whole day goes better. And I make sure that I get the most important thing out right. And you're showing Allah with this, you know, your Quran, your ilm, your salah, 5 times a day, of course, but like in general, you're showing Allah that the first thing you think about and the first thing your action is you protect your akhirah first. You know, you did your ibadah and your Quran recitation, you read the Quran, you seek your knowledge that you need to seek for the day, whether it's an hour, 30 minutes, whatever, consistently. Remember, good deeds should be consistent, even if they're small, right? Rasulullah is saying that whoever is concerned about the akhirah, Allah will place richness in his heart, bring his affairs together. So if you think everything's going wrong, whether it's school, whether it's business, whether it's a job, or whether it's building muscle, whatever you want to achieve in the dunya, Allah will bring your affairs together as long as you show this, and you'll feel fulfilled as well. Fulfillment can only come from Allah. It doesn't come from hard work, and it doesn't come from, trust me, hard work does not bring you fulfillment, okay? Fulfillment comes from Allah Azza wa Jalla and doing things this way. But okay, second part, which is this is the most important part of this episode, okay? Become a Caliph blueprint. How do we take this desire for dunya, right? We've spoken about our ibadah, you know, our personal strive to the ibadah for ourselves to chase the akhirah. That's great. But when we look at the example of the Sahaba, their entire life was about the akhirah. They lived for it. They were ready to die for it. So how can we adapt this in our life? Most of us, in reality, we have a reason we want this money. Maybe it will be because you money or you want some type of success. It'll probably be to help your family and do some responsibilities or even get better, right? But I'll speak to you about becoming the Caliph blueprint, because the truth is that we have a purpose and a mission. Our purpose, the reason we're created, the reason we breathe, it's to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. That's it. Our mission in the dunya is stated by Allah that He made us a Khalifa, deputies on the earth. So you are a deputy of Allah on the earth. And you look at the Anbiya and the Khulafa Rashidun and their example of what it means to be a Khalifa. The Anbiya alayhum as-salam, for example, Dawood alayhi salam is mentioned as a Khalifa. You think of his ability to just, like his fast, subhanallah, one day on, one day off. Can we do that? That is Dawood alayhi salam. And he had all the money and all the power in the dunya. What was he focused on? Fasting fi sabilillah. Worshipping Allah. Reciting his book. That's wild. You look at Sulaiman alayhi salam, same thing. In the Quran, in the story, he's focused on preaching Tawheed to the people. He doesn't care about his money. He doesn't care about treasures. He cares about spreading Tawheed. So what do we learn? That the Khalifa is here to uplift the deen and spread it, and to grant izzah to the deen and the Muslims and protect them, spread justice, and to build infrastructure. To build and to grow. So we look at even the Khulafa ar-Rashidun. They were here. They, created a state, man. They built infrastructure. They employed the right people, and they were building a real state. And they spread justice around the land for all people, and they, spread the religion of Allah Azza wa Jal, and spread the power for that. They spread the order of Allah on the earth, quite literally. And the thing is that we thought that, since the Caliphate died, and since there's no more prophethood, since for like 1,400 years, right? That there's no other mission, that we must just be Muslims and we worship Allah and that's it. No, the mission of a Muslim is so much bigger. The mission of humanity, but unlike that, as Muslims, right? The mission is to become a Khalifa, to become a deputy for Allah on the earth, to become that vicegerent. Do you get what I'm saying? It's to become a sultan, quite literally. And this is the crux of my message here in the channel, is to unlock that part of yourself that is in there because it's your mission. And part of the reason I think Andrew Tate had such a big influence on the men for like a lot before is that his original message was very closely tied to this thing. To conquer earth, to spread your ambition, but that was for dunya's sake, right? And sometimes you'd mix Allah with that, and may Allah guide him. But that is what we have. That's why I connected so much, and that's why I want to talk about it. So the seeker is to do what Ibn al-Mubarak said, right? And this is something that Imran ibn Mansur taught me, which is to create your own statement. And we're going to go to that. Ibn al-Mubarak, radiallahu anhu, he was very wealthy Sahaba, and he basically said, if it wasn't for so-and-so, like he would sponsor villages to go to Hajj. Villages. Imagine that, inshallah. He said, if it wasn't for so-and-so scholars that I sponsor, I would not have done business. So, I love my trade. I like tijara, right? I genuinely do, ever since I was a kid. But doing the trade for the sake of the trade is useless, because you're doing it for the dunya. Your goal is the dunya. You are making a means goal and end goal. You're making the end goal the dunya. This is wrong. So when you are a Khalifa has policies, right? Think of yourself like quite literally, even call yourself that. Look at the mirror and say, يعني Khalifa Muhammad. Because it's true. Maybe you don't say it out loud and do for riyah, but like, you are a Caliph, Habibi. Act like it. And yani, that's what we're talking about. And when we make these end goals of the dunya, we're never going to get fulfilled. By Allah, I've had money and I've had no money. And it doesn't change my desire for the dunya. The dunya always want more from you. By Allah, by Allah's greatness, right? I got it. Wallahi, because that wealth doesn't mean anything. You should make it a means to an end instead of the end itself. Because what will 100% happen if you make an end goal, $10,000 a month, for example? You will work, and so many kuffar, so many Muslims have said this. Yeah, I worked so hard, whatever, so that I could travel Thailand, and then I still felt empty. Because that's not your mission. As a man, you have hukuk upon you, to your family, to Allah, to Rasulullah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to the Muslims, etc. And you have a mission and you have a purpose. Purpose is to worship Allah. Mission is to be a Khalifa. And hukuk is upon what you need to do. Dunya is about that. Enjoyment, Jannah, inshallah. But for now, there's a goal. And you see this present in those who change the ummah. You see this in Salahuddin al-Ayyubi. He wanted to conquer Al-Quds long before. He was looking at his mentor Nuruddin Zengi. He wanted to conquer Al-Quds since he was a kid. He had that clarity, this big dream to take the Crusaders out. And it was not easy. I'm telling you, becoming a Khalifa is not easy. You think tests will not come? They will definitely come. For everyone else. It happened to you as well. But if you don't try and become a Khalifa, as we'll speak about, you will not gain that feeling of success at all. Because that success comes from that mission. And that mission must be connected to pleasing Allah only. And the reward should come from Allah, and you should know that. Whether it's a reward in dunya. Who said tijara is not a reward from Allah? Rizq is a reward. Honor is a reward. But from Allah. I don't care about, like, I love you guys for the sake of Allah, but I don't care. And like, I'm doing this because I know this message is strong, and this is my policy as Caliph, as we'll speak about, right? And you are a Caliph too. So we think that just because the caliphate is destroyed, then you look at us small Muslims. La! This is not rujula. This is not what we were made for. We have a mission. We have things to do. Oh, but we don't have a caliphate. No, we can do it. Trust me. Trust me, there's ways. Trust me. The point is, when we make pleasing Allah in a way that is truly a fire in our heart, yani, that will be how you succeed. And you look at the Sahaba and the Prophets who did this. And we spoke about them. So, this is something that Shaykh al-Albani authenticated as well. And it's a specific thing of how Allah, like for the brothers who want to do rizq, right? I'm going to speak about my mission example and how you can create your own, okay? Indeed, this hadith Qudsi. Indeed, Allah Azza wa Jal said, indeed, we have sent down wealth, rizq, so the prayer can be established and forgiving zakat. That is the point of rizq. And then Allah follows it by speaking about Bani Adam. If the son of Adam had a valley, indeed he would love to have a second valley. And if he had two valleys, he would love to add a third to one of them. Nothing fills the mouth of the son of Adam except dirt. Then Allah turns to the one who repents. So the thing is, lots of people mention the second part of the hadith and say, oh, yani, who cares about dunya? No, Allah explained to you why He sent down rizq. He specifically sent that down for a reason. So if you connect your mission as Caliph, and you should think of yourself as literally Khalifa, policy, what do you want to do, right? If you connect your mission to for the salah to be established, not for your salah, for the salah. I learned this from Ustaz Imran bin Mansour. For the salah to be established and for giving zakat. So if you connect yourself, ultimately uplifting and spreading the religion of Allah, then you are connecting yourself to gaining money for the reason Allah sent money down. You think Allah will not send you more by the permission of Allah? If He sends money for a reason, you are fulfilling the reason, then you don't think He will send it to you if you keep fulfilling the reason. SubhanAllah. That's the point. Now, and He also explains what happens when you care about the dunya and you want money and you want gold and you want this. La. The first part of the hadith is why we need money. And it shows our dichotomy of an animalistic sense of resource gathering and resource spreading. And it's beautiful. But in terms of my mission as Caliph, and really I recommend, what I've been doing for the last few weeks is really asking Allah Azza wa Jal, and this is a dua I make, Ya Allah Azza wa Jal, guide me to make $10,000 a month easily. And by Allah, for the past week and a half, all the changes that I found, all by the tawfiq of Allah Azza wa Jal. That's it. Just because that's the only thing that's changed in my life, that dua. So make dua to guide you to make that Caliph's policy for yourself and what you want to do in this for the ummah and what you want to do for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. Right? And so for me, I really started looking towards my past and what I really wanted and what connected to my heart. For me and my brain, I love tijara, right? I love trading, I love sales, I love business, etc. And I love info, of course. That's why I do it. I've, over time, stopped listening to kuffar more and more and more, and money became more useless. In my head, honestly, to fund me, my wife, my children, my family members that I want to in the future, more than $20,000 to $25,000 a month. And you might say, oh, it's so crazy. Yeah, but we're talking about like the top of the top life, you know, like living in a Muslim country that's extremely safe, extremely expensive, you know, life, etc., and school and this and business class flights and hotels. We're talking about that. 20,000, maybe 25 to literally provide for like 6-7 people to like the best of the best. There is no money after that. You can buy a wonderful 4 or 5 bedroom villa. You can rent a 4 or 5 bedroom villa in Sharjah, Oman. You can rent any car you want for the same amount. You can send your kids to the best school, to madrasa, whatever. You can buy whatever food you want that is reasonable to cook at home, etc. If you're gonna eat out, so different. But you know, haya. You can get your wife some presents. You can buy some nice clothes, maybe not crazy clothes, but nice clothes. No one has a problem with that. You can provide for your mother and whatever you want. $25,000. After that, money loses its meaning. You are only spending for stupidity, in my opinion, right? In my opinion, I think buying Louis Vuitton, I don't want that, right? Because I think I care about clothes being nice and quality, but it doesn't have to be freaking Laura Piana, right? You can buy nice clothes without it having to be. So $20,000 a month. After that, what was the point of tijara? All this pain. And I think my qalb knows it's not worth it. All this pain and suffering and failure and that. For 20,000 a month, like you say that like that's a lot. We come from Jannah. you think that we don't know that Allah is abundant. Ar-Ruh knows. So $20,000, you're going to sacrifice this for nothing. So my mission as Caliph is to focus on personally doing my responsibilities as a man, to make sure that I get my family settled, and no one has a problem with having a nice life. No one has a problem with wanting a nice life. No problem. I want that money. But after 20,000, what do you do? And that's where the Caliph mission comes in. The salah to be established and the zakat to be paid. So to me, I have my personal fulfillment to the deen, which is my responsibilities as a man to provide, my ibadah, right? I have my da'wah to the Muslims, which I'm doing right now. I'm calling you towards Islamic masculinity, away from the garbage, the kuffar, and stop that, right? I want you to be a man. I want you to unlock that sultan side of yourself. That is my da'wah to the Muslims, right? As I speak to you in the videos, right? And also my podcast, The Sultan Vault, where I talk a bit more generally and calmer about the ummah at large and Muslims at large. It's less Muslim men, masculinity, and unlock sultan. More, this is what's wrong with the Muslims, what we can take from it, right? Islamic reminders. That's my da'wah to the Muslims. Then I have a da'wah to the non-Muslims. And I'm only sharing this by Allah. May Allah keep mine and your intentions pure. I'm only sharing this because I want you to understand what type of level we're talking. So that's a nice thing. That's what I want to do because I love it, right? And I want to share this message. My da'wah to the non-Muslims is bigger. I specifically think of myself over time. I always loved, and you might have connected with the caliphates of their time, right? Whether it's the Abbasid or the Umayyad or the Osmanli, right? And one thing that I always loved was conquering, right? I loved it. The concept was, I love it. And so that's what truly, like when you feel that fire in your heart, that's when you found your mission as Caliph. And so I want to buy up every church, every mandir, and every synagogue, insha'Allah, and convert them to a masjid with a dawah organization inside. Now, is that possible in my lifetime? Probably not. And Allah knows best. But that's how mad. I mean, I want to conquer the earth for Allah Azza wa Jalla and His religion. That is the type of mindset that the Sahaba had. But we don't have to we don't do jihad like that. But who said you couldn't do jihad with your wealth? So now my ambition stopped becoming tiny. Started being, no, 20,000, that's for my family. I want millions and millions and millions, bi'idhnillah, so that I can go to every single, like to the kuffar, and just take my money. You want more? Here. I'm not trying to be mean, but like, you get my point. Everyone has a price. I specifically want to buy up churches and other kafir places of worship, not to destroy them and not out of malice, but because I want to kill two birds with one stone. One thing that touched my heart is the ayat where, and you got to scan and ask Allah for your thing, and may Allah keep us pure intention. But I think of the story of Muhammad al-Fatih. I love it, like in terms of like conquering Constantinople, Hagia Sophia, becoming a mosque, whatever. And I've seen the darkness of kufr. I know what it's like to be in a family with kufr. I know what it's like to be in a family that's Muslim that is teaching you the wrong things. I want to, build that to take away falsehood and put truth. You know the ayat where the truth is come and falsehood is gone, right? Along these lines, right? The ayat that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said when he entered Mecca, right? After the conquering. That is what touches my soul. The truth is come and falsehood is gone. I want to destroy falsehood and make religion for Allah alone. That's it. So I want these places of worship that is shirk to be converted to a place of worship that is for tawheed. That genuinely speaks to my heart. I don't want to build another building. I want that building. Because I want that building to be a place where people worship the one God, Allahu Azza wa Jal, and a place where you can learn about Islam, to spread the message. A small little dawah org, you get my point? And then we'll speak about communities and working in the land. And that's a whole different thing. But the point is to buy up kafir places of worship, not out of malice, may Allah protect me and you, but out of wanting to buy that building, to convert it to a masjid, so that religion is for Allah alone, all over the world. And I probably will start in Africa. I don't know. Allah knows best. But I will try and purge the earth of shirk. I may not have an army, but I have Allah. I have tawfiq by the will of Allah, and may Allah grant me tawfiq and you as well. I mean, but do you see how insane the goal is? You want to conquer the earth? Yes. How many millions? Few hundred probably. To buy up every single church and every single land and every single one that I humanly can, I will fight for that. And to fight to build masjids for other places. But you get my point. To me, the masjid is the place that gave me peace. So you see how your mission as Caliph should be really connected to your heart and your story. The masjid is where I learned Islam. The masjid is where I found peace from my pain and my trials. And I want that for others, everywhere around the world. And I want, like I think of those southern Muslims, Muslims in the south or in the Bible Belt, they don't have any masjids for miles because they're surrounded by churches. No problem. Let's buy them. No problem. I am genuinely not out of matters, but you get my point. That's what I want. Specifically, that ayat. I want to fulfill that. I think of Muhammad al-Fatih, and this is not exactly authentic, but it's basically what he said, where he says when he entered Constantinople, allegedly, I came, I saw, Allah conquered. That's it. I came, I saw, Allah conquered. The money is not... And when you approach life and dunya from such a detached point of view, by Allah, may Allah preserve me. After like that amount of money, once my family's good, whatever, and even during, but like ultimately once, every cent, I don't care how much they want, I will throw money at them. Give me the building. It's not about the building. It's not... All that matters is placing the house of Allah all over the world, more and more and more, so that religion is for Allah alone. I want to conquer earth. You should want to conquer earth for Allah as well. And imagine if we have 10,000 or even 1,000 men with a dream like this. Insane dream. Maybe one of them will be the next Salahuddin. You never know. That's why. We need these big dreams. We need these insane thoughts. Then you wake up. You don't wake up, I have to do my business or I have to work. No, I get to be the Sultan who wants to conquer the earth for Allah. You wake up like them. You wake up like the heroes. So my ambition is bigger than it's ever been. And I truly believe, may Allah Azza wa Jal grant me tawfiq and grant me success in the deen, the dunya and the akhirah, and you as well, that this is the way that we should be striving. Because these are the advices from the truth. And remember, As a Muslim, now that you care that your Akhirah is the end goal, this policy as Caliph, as your end goal for the rest of your life, the means to get there becomes very little. Then it starts becoming so important because my goal is that. And if I had the intention and I had the exertion, then the reward is from Allah. Whether He gives it to me in this life or when I die and again in the Akhirah, it's up to Allah Azza wa Jal. But I'm not going to quit, because why would I? That's my point. That's my mission, right? So remember, as a Muslim, it's victory or shahada. That's the way that you do war, victory or death. So if you die, think about the prophets who had one follower or even 0 followers. Doesn't matter. They still completed their mission. You must do the same. There's a mission inside of your heart that you want to complete for the deen of Allah. Complete it. Pull that sultan out of you. Stop thinking about the cash. Cash is a means to complete your responsibilities as a man. Yes, enjoy a bit of dunya, but to conquer fi sabilillah. May Allah protect us and grant us pure intention. Ameen. And just before you leave, if you are genuinely loving this type of content and you really connect with this type of message, I have a free course, the 10x Deen and Dunya, that you can check out in YouTube playlist format or course format down in the description. It basically has the 25 plus lessons that I personally use to 10x my Deen and Dunya. So if you want to start this journey of like getting that, like building your tawfiq to be able to fulfill your policy as Caliph, this is going to help you a lot, inshallah. Jazakallah khair for watching. I know it's a long video, but I think this message was very strong. Or if you're not, that's no problem. Just please give us feedback in the comments about your thoughts on this topic and how you want to be a Khalifa, inshallah. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.